How's my hair?
Hair looks good, man. Hair looks good.
All good.
All right, guys. Joining me now is a man you may know. He's from the local British Columbia fight scene. He's fought in Alberta. He's fought all over the place. He is the Battlefield Fight League multi-division champion, and he fights at Battlefield Fight League 67 against Kyran Cameron for the vacant belt to add another one to his collection. He is Dejan Kajic. Thanks for joining me today, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
It's been a while since we've chat. I don't think I chat with you after you won your last title. I think I chat with you before that. It's been since
It is.
29. It's been since 2019 since you fought last. Canceled bout in early 2020. What's with the layoff? Is it COVID? Is it not being able to find matchups? Because I know that's been a problem in the past.
I just couldn't find matchups, to be honest. I tried so hard to find people to fight me and stuff, and I messaged and Battlefield tried. They even tried for their first show that they did not too long ago, and I just could not get anybody matched up.
So you decided, hey, let's add another title to the collection, or what?
Well, you know what though, man? To be honest, I was so desperate to fight that I don't even care. I told him let the opponent choose if he wants to go 175. I'd rather go 175. I haven't done 170 in a while, but I always like a challenge. So I took the hard way, and Jay came to me. He said 170. I just said okay. I just want to fight. To be honest, man. So I don't really care. When you're desperate, you can't choose.
Exactly, for sure. Now, you said it's been some time since you fought at 170. What's the training camp been like? Obviously, you're a guy who likes to get the nutrition down pretty early on and have an easy weight cut. What's it been like this training camp?
Honestly, same as every training camp. Sucks. You know what I mean? It's like anything, man. Like fuck it, the things you care about, you go through an emotional roller coaster, right? And stuff like that, and it doesn't matter with the weight, man. I'll make the weight, right? Sorry, man. An extra
No.
couple pounds won't make me or break me and stuff like that. So the weight's fine. You know what I mean? I'm right now. I'm 2 weeks out of my 187. You know what I mean? So I'm under 190, which is good.
For sure.
And I just don't like to cut weight. It's not that I can't do it. I just don't like to do it. So if I don't have to, I don't want to.
Do you think that this may be the last time we see you at 170 then, since you don't like cutting the weight? I mean, 185 is a place that you hold a championship as well. Is that the division you want to be at, or do you feel like you're a little undersized for that division?
Fucking a little bit is being polite, but yeah. You know what though, man? To be honest, like I can be a local hero at 185, but anytime you step into any of like real organizations, and it's not that BFL doesn't have any real 185ers or anybody in Canada they do. It's just that I can kind of rely a little bit more on skill level, as in up there when they match your skill level, and then they're like twice as bigger and stronger than you. It's just like I just don't belong there.
Now you're riding a four-fight winning streak. You had that impressive performance against Ricardo Centeno. The knee and the punches and timing in that fight, as in every one of your fights, was a thing of beauty. Now, after that fight, you said you wanted to step up. You said that you thought, who knows, one championship, UFC, Bellator, whatever. The calling was there. You had the winning streak. What were your thoughts when the call didn't get made, or were you looking for that call? Did the management just not get it done? What was the deal with all of that?
I honestly, man, I had a good momentum going, and then the COVID happened, right? And then everything cooled off, right? And then when a lot of these organizations haven't put on shows for a year, they have to feed their roster. You know what I mean? And vice versa for B too, right? I mean, if they're bringing in and they're not letting us local guys have the first crack at fighting in the card, we'd be pretty pissed off as well, right? So I'm sure UFC, Bellator, and all that stuff. When and it's so difficult to travel. I mean, now it's getting easier. Like 6 months ago, it was so difficult, and then lockdowns, not lockdowns. So it's like I had a couple of interests about a couple of offers actually. Even before this one, I got offered with a 5-fight contract with Brave. So I'm still very interested in that. It just happened to be the same day as my fight, June 4th. And they called me about 3-4 weeks ago. But I just like I want to take it. The money was great, everything was good. BFL was also willing to let me out of the contract, but I just kind of, it's like once I sign a name in my contract, I want to be obligated to my opponent as
Of
well, and I
course.
want to finish it up through. And I had guys drop out on me and stuff, and it's not a nice feeling, and especially like, hey man, we're the co-main event on UFC Fight Pass, and it's not like I'm being completely honorable. Oh, it's all for him. Well, not really. It's also for me as well. I gotta, my first back. I get to fight in my own city, build my own brand name. It's against a really tough opponent, and they get to be seen worldwide. So it's a win-win for me, anyways.
Speaking of that UFC Fight Pass, this will be the first time you're fighting on that platform with Battlefield. It's pretty exciting that they finally made this happen, and it'll get you in front of that many more people, like you said. Does that put a little bit more pressure on your shoulders?
No, honestly, man, not really. Well, you know what is though, man? I know how good I am,
Of
right? So
course.
I don't need the validation of an organization to validate that, right? You know what I mean? So I know where I stand, but also I know where I stand realistically too, man. I'm an older guy too. I'm 36 years old, right? So a lot of organizations are not looking to invest into older fighters, and if I do, it's due to circumstances, not as much that are being sought out, right? Because there's a lot of guys with my records that are 5, 6 years younger than me too, right? And I think that's a big thing for me, and that's why I was kind of really heartbroken because the COVID took a year and a half from my training, right? I'm at my prime right now, right? So I got about maybe 2, 3 more years. After that, it's depending on how much damage I take, how much the body holds out, and also I don't want to take head traumas, locally, at 40 years old either,
Of
right? If
course.
it is, I want it to be for money and for something a little bit more that I'm pursuing, right? So I don't want to be that 40-year-old that's chasing a high school dream.
Definitely. Now
Like,
we've seen locals. We saw Tristan Connolly step up and fight locally in his debut fight. Lupita Godinez, she stepped up, went up one weight class, and then this week she signed a fight which actually fell through because of visa issues, and it was up 2 weight classes. Is that something that would interest you if the UFC called you to step up weight classes?
100%. Listen, man, like circumstance will never be 100% as you envision it. You know what I mean? Your job is just stay ready, stay hungry, stay motivated. And then the rest, let's just hope, you get the odds on your side. But who cares, man? I don't even want odds on my side. I just want opportunity.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And that's all I want, right? And I think I belong there. And if I don't, I'll lose the fight. And you know what I mean? Either way, the truth is the truth, right? You can flop your record as much as you want, right? But eventually you got to go through some tough guys, right? You know what I mean? And I always laugh because I'm like, everybody's trying to fluff up their record and getting there in like 5, 6 fights. Everyone wants to be in defeat. I'm like, listen, bro, doesn't matter how much your coaches and all that shit do a perfect matchup. If you fucking suck, you fucking suck. You know what I mean? There's no denying it, right? So it's
100%.
like, right. So and everybody is like, like and like Cole is one guy who did it perfectly. He got there with 6 fights, right? So I think a lot of people are trying to copy the same recipe, and I'm like, hey man, it doesn't happen like that, right? And there's also like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because if you are 6-0, and then let's just say you lose, you don't get signed, well, there's no more easy fights for you. You
Yeah.
can't, you know what I mean? The shittiest guys you're ever gonna fight is guys like me, gatekeepers, right? And good luck fluffing up your record if you're only fighting guys like me, right? So
Exactly. Now, you spoke about coaching there. You're the owner of your gym, Universal MMA, over in North Vancouver. You've got a stable mate of guys that come through that vicinity to help with your training. I know in the past you had Caleb Starnes, former UFC guy, fought all over the world for different organizations. Who do you got in your corner, and who's part of your training camp this time around?
I got quite a few local guys who are helping me in. One of them was Keenan. He just fought my guy. Even though the fight didn't go too long and stuff like that. So he's been helping me out. I got Bryce. Bryce is also fighting on the card. He's a 170, as strong as it gets. He's been helping me and stuff. And I got, you know what though, man, the city of Vancouver is full of talent. So I can always put a good training camp locally. It's just that it's nice for me to leave the city and just to eat, sleep, and train. When I'm here, I have a lot more obligations, whether it's to my gym, You know what I mean? Whether it's my personal life, whether it's to the family, like all the little stuff. So it's like there's always more things on your plate than just eat, sleep, train, right? So it's nice to get away from the city and just to do that. But if not, listen, there's no perfect training camp, nor do I expect one, right? Every training camp, if it's not the weight, it's the partners. If it's not the partners, it's circumstances. There's always something to bullshit about, right?
Of
So as
course.
a result, man, no complaints on my end.
Tell me about that a little bit. Not being able to travel, not being able to take your training camp elsewhere. Mentality speaking, what goes through your head from a day-to-day basis with all this COVID stuff?
Lots of stuff. Here, let me just plug my phone in before he dies. He just gave me 5%.
For sure.
Sorry, brother. 1 sec, man. 1 sec. I'm gonna plug it in really quickly, huh? I like it telling you I'm professional all the way, right? And don't tell other people otherwise, huh? No, man. COVID's been hard. It did this, honestly, man. Like, not to get too personal, it's been the hardest year of my life. One of the hardest years. Just personally, there's been so much going on for me. In every aspect, from obviously the gym. Surviving it is a nightmare. You know what I mean? I put all my savings into it to stay afloat and stuff like that. And I got a couple more months to ride it out, but that's been hard. Personally, I had my four really good friends pass away this year. So that's been kind of one of them was my best childhood friend. He's out in Toronto. Life gives, life takes. And then the older we get, the bigger the bill gets. As a result, the life starts to collect a little bit, right? So that's been a really hard time with it. I struggle with a little bit of going through the business and friends and all that stuff. Went through my drinking, partying phase a bit, but I never stopped training, right? It's just the body took a little bigger punishment, but I've never taken time off and stuff. So yeah, it's been a difficult year for me on so many levels, man. So
what you said you went through some like a drinking, partying phase. Obviously, that your mind space was in a bit of a different framework. What helped you get out of that funk?
Honestly, just eyeing the prize, man. Like, at the end of the day, man, this is what I tell people: when victims are born, they're not, victims are not born, they're made. So if you don't see, a little bit of pity party, fuck this, fuck. So I got into a really angry mindset. You know what I mean? So I just didn't want to deal with things and tuned out. And when we got nothing to do and your friends are come here, come there, couple more drinks into a 1 or 2 day bingers.
Oh man.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the weekend happened. Monday, Tuesday, I was back in the gym. I've never trained more in my life, ever. Like I'm telling you, man, I slept at the gym, and some for good reasons, some for bad reasons, but I've been at the gym all the time.
Beautiful. Now you said a training partner of yours right now, Keenan Keller, he took on Kyran Cameron in his last outing. Didn't go his way. You might have learned a little bit from that. The guy has better jiu-jitsu than we all thought, I guess. You're a brown belt under Robert Drysdale. You've got great jiu-jitsu, which we don't necessarily see too often inside the cage. We might see it this fight if it gets down to the canvas. What else do you know about Kyran Cameron other than that outing that we saw there? Have you watched any of his BTC fights or anything like that?
I've seen some of his fights, man. He's got a great jab. He's got a really nice jab. He's got a nice little snappy right hand and stuff like that. And I told this to Keenan too and everybody too, man. Listen, the guy's fucking undefeated. You know what I mean? Which he's got a winner's mentality. So if you just judge a man on his skills, you overshadow the person's intellectual level to find a way to win. And he seems to find a way to win, which is more valuable than any skill you can have. You know what I mean? Which means if you win at high levels, that means you have the ability to be composed in a stressful situations, because you have to make the right decisions. He's not a jiu-jitsu guy, right? But he made the right decision. He stuck to it and intellectually tapped out Keenan, which I roll with that fucking guy. I can't express how good he is on the ground. You know what I mean? Like that. He spent years and years with Nabil and Micah and stuff like that, who are wizards on the ground, and he holds his own. And I'm being polite, right? And for him to tap out and Keenan is the guy. The guy finds a way to win, and those guys you got to respect, and that fucking excites me more than I can imagine, man. Oh, I love those guys, right? Because, well, it's not so much of a slugfest as much as a intellectual, conversation that me and him are going to have, except we're going to debate with our hands and feet, right? So that's what I'm excited about.
And that we see each time you're inside the cage, man. I don't want you to give anything away. I hate asking for predictions because, every day it could be a different thing going through your head, and we don't want to get things too set in stone. Don't want to give anything away, but I'm as excited for this fight as any one of your fights, Dan. I can't wait to see you inside the cage on June 4th. Hopefully I'm there in person. Just let people know where they can find you on social media. Any shout outs, let them know about the gym if they live in the Lower Mainland, man. The floor is yours.
No shout outs, man. You know what? I don't like, you know what it is though, man. It's hollow stupidity, right? To shout out on online people that I love. I tell them every day when I see them. People I train about, I hug and I appreciate them to come and go. So I give my gratitude in person, not on social media. Regarding my gym, don't care. Like I'm not here to anything, man. I'm just here to, like, it's not, man. It's I hate taking some people's time wait to get a cheap sale in, right? If people want it, they'll find me. If they don't, they won't, and that's about it, man. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good show. The guy's talented. The guy's young. He's explosive. So am I, man. I'm fucking hungry. I'm motivated, man. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna smash him. Hopefully, returns the favor, and both of our stocks have a good chance of going up after this fight, right? So I don't see anybody being a loser here in the end, as long as we put on a good technical show, man. So.
You heard it here. Good luck on the 4th, man.
Fuck yeah, man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time as always, man. And don't fucking miss out, man. It's gonna be a banger. Second round, wink, wink. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, brother.